Hello and welcome to Scream Queen. Today we'll be playing For the Queen. It's a wonderful collaborative storytelling game by Alex Roberts about a group of people who have a very complex relationship with a powerful central character. In this game, our queen will be a horror movie actress or Scream Queen. I am Hubbard. I was about to say I'm the GM, but I'm not the GM because there is no GM. So I'm just playing, but I'm also introducing this. So you can find some of my game design stuff. Actually, I just started an Instagram like yesterday. So you
Oh,
can
hell
find me
yeah.
on Instagram at emhubbard_games. That's me, and you can see some old stuff that I've done and some stuff about Rocket Club, work in progress, that you might remember from this show. With us today are several voices who are probably familiar to you. First, we have Megan.
Hi everyone. My name's Megan. I use they them pronouns. If you want to follow me and see some drawings that I do, my art Instagram is wabi.draws, and I think I'm better than average, but not that great. I'll give myself a humble description.
Right. Megan, icebreaker question. Who is your favorite horror movie actress or heroine?
Uh, my favorite is Jennifer from Jennifer's Body.
Oh, there you go. Good one. Um,
What a queen.
yes. Good choice. Ian?
Yeah, that's me. Hello, everyone. I'm Ian. I've gotten to play a few of these games with you guys. Uh, love playing role play games, and I'm excited to try something new.
And who is your favorite horror movie actress?
I love the Alien movie and like the whole Alien franchise, so probably Sigourney Weaver. I was first introduced with to, like Alien Isolation, so I probably my favorite like heroine character would be the I think it was not Ellen, but Amanda Ripley from that.
Hmm. Another good choice. All right. And Pan.
Oh, hi. I'm Pan from Pan42 Tarot. I have a YouTube tarot channel where I read tarot and stuff, and you can find me on Instagram and at Pan42 Tarot. I'm on a bit of a break at the moment, but I should be back eventually. Um, favorite movie actress? Horror? Uh, I'm not good with remembering people in movies, but I like Anna Faris in Scary Movie because she kind of embodies like all of the stereotypes of a scream queen. So Anna Faris.
Nice. Okay. And Chloe?
Hi, my name is Chloe, and I don't have anything to plug. I'm pretty boring, but I have absolutely 0% involvement in any type of horror movie ever. It would be bad. The thing I'm going to say is Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas is probably the closest you're going to get from me.
Excellent.
Love it.
Honestly, that's a solid choice.
Yeah. I am also not really a horror movie fan. I like horror role-playing games. Movies, not so much. So my choice was actually also going to be Sigourney Weaver. So instead, I'm going with Sheila Vand from the movie A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is just a really awesome Iranian vampire movie. You don't have to like horror to
Ooh.
watch it. It's almost more of a Western. Look it up if you haven't seen it. It's really
A
good.
vampire western? That sounds amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's contemporary, but it has the feel of a Western. All right, so we are ready to dive in with our game of For the Queen. I should also note, For the Queen is about to release a new version, a brand new kind of updated thing. I think it's coming out in May. So we're using the original deck, but there's a new one coming out, and I'm excited for it. I've enjoyed this game for a long time. So we're going to start off going around our virtual table, and I'm going to have each of us read one of those little text boxes that I have open there in the Roll20. Who wants to start us off?
I can take a crack at it.
All right. You want to read the first card?
All right. So our first card. The Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power.
The Queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey.
And I guess that's me next. She chose you because she knows that you love her. So I can interject here. I changed the cards a little bit here because it does really lean toward like medieval queen on a journey. There's been a war going on for hundreds of years sort of thing that doesn't apply to what we're doing. So we're kind of taking the perilous journey to broker an alliance. We'll sort of figure out what that means for our queen as we move along.
The movie plot.
Yeah, I mean, she's not going to like a neighboring kingdom to stop a war, but she's doing something. We'll figure out what that is.
Okay. Take turns drawing prompt cards. Read the questions out loud. Interpret these questions and answer them however you like.
Other players may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn, but whether you answer those questions or include those suggestions is entirely up to you.
Back to me.
Yeah.
If you encounter a card or answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card. That content is removed from the game.
If you draw a card that is removed this way, simply draw another card. You can X a card that you drew yourself.
You can also pass on your turn. To do so, give the prompt card you drew to the next player and say, I'd like to hear your answer to this question.
Prompt card can be passed around the table until someone applies the X card to it.
Continue answering, passing, and Xing questions until the Queen is under attack card is drawn.
Each player should answer the question in turn. Then the game is over.
Whoever wants to can draw the first prompt card.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I am pulling us over to another page, a different layer where I think it'll be easier to see the cards. Whoever wants to start can go ahead and draw a card. Should I start?
If you wanna.
I'll start. Okay. I've played for the Queen before, so.
The first victim.
So, here's my card. Oh, it's a juicy one. The Queen had you punished once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever? It's a tough one to get on the first draw. The Queen had me punished once.
Especially since we haven't figured out what she's doing yet.
Yeah. Well, she's a horror movie actress. I think probably I am like in her employ. Like I must be a like low level functionary or something like that. I'm probably like her personal assistant or something. She had me punished. I think there's filming going on, and I don't know exactly what I did. Maybe it'll come up later, but she had me like just locked out of set, and I had a ton of stuff to do, and she just like completely shut me out. I couldn't do any of my work that was supposed to get done. And what about it will stay with me forever? This I'm picturing like standing outside of a movie studio in the rain, holding like 2 cups of coffee, or
Oh,
like a tray of coffee, and just like cold and drenched, and like I've been overworked already, and like sobbing in the rain, and I will never forget that. So after I kind of answer the question, anybody can ask follow-ups or like make suggestions to that. And another thing I should have said earlier is if we hit something that's like really like good and interesting, we can kind of play out like role play a scene of it. And like somebody can play another character. I don't think this is it, but if we hit something like
yeah.
that, we can be like, let's do a little scene of that.
Well, I got a juicy question.
Yeah.
Which of our group was like stood up for you during that experience? Which of us did not? Like, who was with you? Who was not?
Is that a question that we can answer right now?
I don't know.
It's not a question I can answer because I don't know who any of you are.
Unless you want to make assumptions about us immediately that we can build on.
I'm giving you the opportunity to make an enemy or make a friend right here and now before we begin.
Can I say that like one of you stood up for me and one of you like shut the door in my face? And we can figure out who those two are a little later on.
Yeah, I think
Gotcha.
that works.
T.
Cool. Okay.
I also have a question that I don't know if you specifically stated, but what was it specifically that you did to get yourself locked out?
I didn't say. I think it was something like it was like nothing, but to our Scream Queen, it like how about this? I don't actually know.
Ooh, mystery.
Ooh. That's so much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can vibe with that.
All right. All right, so going around our table, Chloe, you're next.
Oh, geez. Okay. You have a personal connection to the land you are currently traveling through. What makes you want to stay, and why don't you? Ooh.
That means I think you get to decide what the journey is.
Yeah.
Get a little bit more exposition here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, see, problem with this one is that I don't have anything about my character figured out yet.
Yeah. Anyone have suggestions for like where we're traveling?
I mean, we could be traveling to like location for a movie.
Yeah,
Like
like a sleep.
a Scream Queen might go out to like a really cinematic location, especially for something like Blair Witch Project or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of horror films are like filmed in like New England area.
Yeah.
So that could be the case. We're like just like smack dab in the middle of like the boondocks of New England.
I like that.
I guess you can kind of just like choose any place, and then that's a place that has a connection for you.
You could either make it like we're going somewhere that you're familiar with, or maybe you just don't want to leave the studio we're being sent out from.
I'd say originally I am from a small town that just is like a super close-knit little community, and after spending such a long time in LA, I have started to miss that town. So getting the information that we are going to said town, which I have not quite yet decided where it is in my brain, I love the idea of like going back, but as we're on the way there, I'm reminded why I left. I think there's a little tiny town in Wyoming, and I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me, but it would be the perfect place to shoot a horror movie. There's like nothing but antelope and Western themed shops and stuff, but like not Western in a good way, like Western in a creepy way.
Like Dead Oil Town land.
Yes. Yeah, Cody, Wyoming.
I has a question.
Yes.
Was it your idea to shoot the movie here?
Ooh. Maybe I did overhear them describing what they were looking for as far as sets go, and I was like, oh, I know exactly where we need to go. I like that. Yeah.
Ian next.
I believe so. Let's see what we get. How does the queen remind you of her status while on the journey? I think she's got like her own penthouse suite style. Like, let's see. I think if this is like a road trip, she's got like her own camper trailer, and you know it's hers. And like, you don't go over to hers without like an invitation.
Is there something that she does with you specifically to like show you that, what is it? Show you her status?
I think this is where I got to try and decide what kind of role in the hierarchy I of
Yeah.
like employees. I think I don't go there unless I get summoned, and then it's usually like, okay, when you're done, she just like kicks you out, but like in the passive aggressive, like don't waste my time kind of way.
Are you a makeup artist?
Like a makeup artist or a manager, like somewhere in the middle, I think. Maybe I'm her agent or something.
Ooh,
Ooh,
okay.
agent.
More important than me.
I don't know. Maybe you're the coffee guy or something.
You're the intern.
Either way,
Yeah.
she gets mad at me when I knock on the door unless she's like requested me, but I have to knock on the door a lot, so.
Han?
Okay. Why are some others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen?
Ooh.
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 Well, if you're her agent, then I'm gonna say, why are some others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen? Hmm,
Are you like not an employee?
I might not be employed by her.
A different sort of relationship?
Yeah, maybe I'm not maybe I'm her boyfriend or something.
You like a tag along who just comes and goes as you please?
Ooh, or maybe I'm the leading man in the movie.
Ooh.
And so she's not my boss in any way, but I'm part of the entourage because we have to run lines together and shit. Like, we have to be love interests on screen.
One of us needs to be like another actor, but who's like lower on the totem pole.
Yeah, probably. Um, is this like just a professional relationship or is there like romance there?
I bet there's a showmance because, like, that happens all the time, but I don't think it's a real life romance. I think it's we gotta get this movie made and we gotta make it feel real, so we're spending a lot of time together.
Is there a history?
Well, I feel like sure because like if if she's exclusively a scream queen, they tend to like cast a lot of the same people in a lot of different movies. So
Yeah,
I feel like we've probably been co-actors on a couple of different projects.
that leaves a lot of room for other stuff to come up.
I also have a question. Is your relationship on set different than how it actually is off set?
Yes.
How so?
Because on set, we're trying to make it feel real. So we're like really spending all our time together and like be going over lines and like talking about the deep thing, like motivations of our characters and shit. But like, if we walked by each other in LA, it would be like, "Hey, bye." Like, I worked with you on that one thing. Yeah, that's cool. Bye.
So a lot more like casual, like you're not all over each other like you are on set.
Like, we don't go to D&D parties together outside of, but like, if the cast of the movie was playing D&D together, we would be sitting next to each other and like holding hands, maybe.
Ooh la la, so scandalous, holding hands.
I
Yeah.
know.
Does like everyone know it's a show, or like the other employees like full on believers that you two are in love, or
I think it would depend on the person. Like, people closer to her probably know a little bit more. Other people might know a little less.
Yeah, I think like we are jealous, so there's definitely like a feeling of special connection or special treatment or something like that, at least,
Yeah, for sure.
real or not.
We're just very dedicated to our craft.
Yeah.
Honestly, love that for you.
Yes. How do I get rid of this card?
I can move it away.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
I was making a pile. Maggie, you want to pull one? You got it.
Got it. What is something you do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey? Ooh.
Ooh.
The built in there is like, what is the royal family?
I know, right? If I'm a manager, do I count as royal family?
I don't know. That's up to Meg.
I don't know either.
I'm gonna say, as far as the royal family goes, this is like a very like powerful Hollywood family that like dips its toes into like literally every single avenue they can get to make money. So this is like our queen specific niche is acting. And then as far as what I do for the royal family is that ooh. I'm gonna say
Assassin.
I've killed them all. No. um, I'm gonna say I'm actually the queen's sister who I'll say also does acting, but I'm sort of like the older sister who is more responsible and kind of like keeps our image good. Cause our queen's a bit of a diva, as seen by M's question.
You're her image consultant.
I'm like her co-star slash sister slash person who keeps her in line on set.
So
Do
how?
you and I? Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, do you and I agree a lot or disagree a lot on like what roles she should take?
I feel like we agree a lot. Just because, like, you've probably been with our family for a long time. So, like, we kind of trust your judgment a lot more. And, like, I'm older than her, but not that much older than her that, like, I know everything about the world and how it works.
That kind of raises the question of like, how old is our Scream Queen? How long has she been at this?
Ooh, what if she's, like, early 20s and is kind of like she's been a child star for a long time, so like
Ooh.
she's kind of like in her Miley Cyrus era.
Okay.
We have a lot of movies listed.
I mean, hey, like some of these she could have been like a little kid for. There's little kids in horror movies.
That's true.
True.
Unfortunately.
I could see her playing as like a little kid in Troubled Minds.
Mhm.
Or Whisper Girl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She is the Whisper Girl in Whisper Girl.
Nice.
But yeah, like some of the like especially scarier titles, like maybe like these are like her first like few like adult roles, like Surgery Sugar.
That sounds very adult. So the question I was going to ask before is, how has this role been particularly like important on this journey?
Yes. So like I've been in the industry like a little longer than she has. I have a few years on her. So like just like my personal relationship with her, like being her sister, but also like having like close ties with Ian's character and like having those few extra years of experience in like the acting world, I feel like have kind of prepped me for wherever we're going, like this little Wisconsin town. To be like, okay, this is just like we're doing our jobs. We gotta stick to it. Or else Ian will get mad. Like, I feel like it's very much like Ian's like the business side of keeping her in line, and then I'm very much more like the emotional, like cornerstone for her.
I'm good with that.
Cool.
Sick.
All right. That's me again. What did you bring with you to protect the queen? Ooh.
Oh, shit.
What did I bring with me to protect the queen? What are we doing? Like, why is this movie important? Is this like, can we say it's like her like directorial debut? Like she's trying to make, like leaning on the family name, like making a really, really early leap from being a early 20-something actress to being a director or something like that.
I think that'd be
Oh.
interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That didn't get me any closer to the answer.
I have a suggestion, if that's all right.
Okay. Yeah.
Perhaps you are an intern, but from what we know about our Scream Queen, she is a diva. She doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily like the idea of having bodyguards, but her sister and her agent understand that it might be necessary to have somebody nearby to protect her in case there's paparazzi and things, or people who might want to get closer to her than they should. So you,
Okay.
as an intern, are also secretly like martial arts trained.
All right.
You were both the intern, but the bodyguard as well.
Okay. From the last question, I was picturing like mousy young girl for my character. My Kevin Costner instead. Can I be both?
Mousy young girl who knows jujitsu.
Yeah. All
like
right.
you
I
look
like
very
it.
unassuming on the surface, but you're actually like incredibly badass.
Mhm. Cool. Yeah, so I brought my history of martial arts training, which is the one thing that got me through on that night when I was locked out of the studio in the pouring rain.
You
Breath
roundhouse
work.
kicked the door.
Yeah. Just to the wall, just to take out the frustration.
Who on site knows your security? Is it just me and Meg, or anyone else know?
I would say not the leading man. And we still don't really know who Chloe's character is yet. So
She's the other intern who works with you.
so I would like hold off on that answer, I guess.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna say my character's name is Katie.
I vibe with Katie.
Constantly like carrying armfuls of scripts and like whatever our Scream Queen wants. She should probably have a name soon too. I don't know, a bowl of chili or something like that, but also like head on a swivel looking out for danger. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds good to me.
Well, that puts it back at me, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Okay. Huh. The queen touched you once. What about that memory will stay with you forever? Oh, geez.
It's a lot of a lot that's open for interpretation there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Lot of adult
Is it a
undertones.
metaphorical touch or like a physical touch? Like, did she punch you?
That's
How many issues does our queen have?
I mean,
Oh,
she's a child star. She has so many.
hold on. That segues me nicely into something I was thinking about.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm like a scriptwriter. Like, the troubled grew up in a small town where constant police reports were flooding in about messed up things that happened. And she once slapped a script out of my hand.
Ooh.
She hated how I had written it, did not want to recite the lines, and she slapped the script right out of my hand. And in doing so, actually, like, got one of my hands with her nails.
Ow.
So metaphorically, what will stay with me is her criticism of my writing, and then physically, what will stay with me is I actually have scars from where her nails hit my hand.
Oh,
Woof.
Wow.
your
Yikes.
sister has problems.
I was expecting a gentle
Yeah,
touch.
no, right?
She's kind of
She's
a
a-
problem.
She's an absolute diva. I'm kind of into it.
What was the script?
I want to say it was for the pit, and I want to say that I had like written it to where like there was a quiet type of insanity, but she wanted like big dramatic, could act out crazy type scene, and I wrote like quiet, slowly going insane, and she was not happy with me.
Was she right?
I still maintain that she absolutely was not.
All right.
I would never say it to her face, but I do not think that she was correct. I take my artistic integrity very seriously, thank you very much. Everyone good with that?
I'm good with that.
Yeah. All right.
What did you bring with you that endangers the queen?
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me. I trusted you.
This is the real question: is how loyal am I to the queen here?
You're actually like here to like take down my entire family line.
Are your family mobsters? Is this like secretly like a mob feud thing?
Maybe.
More like a Kardashian type family line.
Maybe. Okay, here's an idea. Here's what I've got. I disagree with her that it's her time for her to go be a director. I think she should stick to movie because she's made boatloads of money. She's a diva. I completely disagree. I think her script, what she's got going on, is terrible. So I am fully ready to throw some wrenches in the plans
Ooh.
and just cause some issues on site. Maybe I won't be the one who physically does it, but I have some of the resources and I have money to pay people off to make sure the project turns out to be a flop.
So what did you bring with you? Opinions.
I brought money, the biggest weapon in cinema history.
Ooh.
And perhaps, I think it's probably not for me. I'm here to pay someone else to sabotage the scene.
Have you done this before? Not necessarily to her, but
I think once or twice. I don't do it very often. But if there's a client who I think is getting out of their niche and they're making boatloads of money doing what they're doing, I'll make the process difficult so that they will go back to it. Because, in my opinion, divas like to take things easy. They're not there for the hard work. So if things get difficult, If you apply enough pressure, they'll just go back to doing what they do.
So you're salty because they don't respect the art.
I'm salty because she's throwing away the money making. Stick with what you're good at.
Debatably even worse, you're a cog in capitalism.
Oh, the true enemy.
Hey, if you're making money, why would you change? But anyway, that's what I think my character is doing here. And as far as what endangers the queen, yes, I've brought money and bad intention.
Money and bad intentions.
Right. Does it like in some way come from like a caring place of like you want what's best for her, or is it entirely like
How
you
nice has she been to me? How nice has their family been to me over the years?
And like one thing just to bring back to like our introduction, the reason that we're all here is because the queen knows that we love her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I would say, if I've been with the family for so long, I just know her character, and I don't think it's going to go well if she tries to pull this movie off. So I just want her to stick with what she's good at, because I think it'll be better for her. It'll keep bringing the money in. And if I have to, I'll apply pressure so that she doesn't succeed.
nice.
Whether this
Okay,
is my opinion or something like her parents want me to do, I don't know. I'll leave that up to the future cards.
Gotcha. I think that's interesting. It's like, I'm gonna make you fail, but I'm making you fail out of love.
Failing forward.
Which is terrible. Don't do this in real life.
No. Is it my turn?
I don't know.
It's Pan's turn.
Hand's turn. Cool.
We're kind of like going.
What makes the queen beautiful in your eyes? Ooh.
See, I told you. I told you the cards were going to tell you what.
So I think I'm gonna go with the cheesy actor answer of like she's really when she gets into character, she's really there. Like she despite like all the hype of her being like a child actor and all that stuff, she really like honed her craft, and that's why she's so good at raking in money as a lead actress, is she's actually very good at the craft. So I am super locked in with her when she is acting. So that's what makes her beautiful, is her dedication to her craft.
Kind of unrelated question. What's the Scream Queen's name?
Trying to think of like what's like a very good like, but also kind of generic actress name.
Veronica.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a Veronica for sure. No offense to all the Veronicas out there that may be listening.
She needs like a strong last name on top of that. Like this has to be like a strong family name. Like the family's known for their last name.
Yeah. So what's that?
Ooh.
Short and punchy?
I was thinking like old money.
Like
Like,
a
kinda
Barrymore
last name.
style kind of thing?
Yeah. The first name that came into my mind was Vanderbilt, but I don't know if that's like too
Veronica
Vanderbilt.
the double V. And we all do that because we're that pretentious where we have double V names.
I like it.
I do too.
I can work with that.
Yeah, as do I.
Love a good alliteration.
Now I gotta come up with a V name for myself because I made up that rule.
Yes.
I can think of like Vivian's a V name. Victoria's a V name. There's not a lot of V names though, so I don't know.
Ooh, I'll go with Violet Vanderbilt.
Ooh, I love it.
Are we done on this card? What makes the queen beautiful?
I believe so.
All right, then Meg.
Yeah. What do I got? The queen knows something about you that no one else does. What is it? Well, that makes sense because she's my sister.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The cards are
Ooh.
magic, just so you know.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like a secret romance could be a fun thing. It's just like if people found out, if the press is found out, like your career would be over.
Dun dun. dun.
I have no idea who this person would be, though, is the thing. But I do like the idea that, like when she's not, like, watching over Veronica on set, she's, like, making out with someone in a closet or something. I never said my person was perfect.
So it's somebody on set.
Yes.
Actor or crew?
Actor?
Is this like a true love, like you've known this person for a long time, or is this more like a fling that keeps happening?
I think, given that it has to be, like, a career ender, I feel like it is more of, like, a fling. But, like, they've been at it for a while.
So is that really a career ender in Hollywood?
I mean, like, I think my character kind of has, like, the reputation of being the good sister. And so it's just, like, when you're screwing around with somebody on set, it's not, like, the most, like, flattering thing to your reputation.
Your father will be very upset.
Yeah. At the very least, my family will be very unhappy with me. And at the very best, the press will have something to write about.
How does Veronica feel about the affair?
I'm gonna say she's jealous because she kind of has this fake thing going on with Pan's character, and she's like, I want something real. So that's her whole
Does
thing.
she, like-
She's why can't I have this?
Does she express that to you?
No, she stews.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And maybe that's why, or part of why she got upset at M's character was because she was already fuming because she found them doing stuff, and, like, it's just like, man, why can't that be me? Or, like, Violet told Veronica about, like, her kind of affair, and it's just like, man, I want to be in love.
She lashed out.
Yeah.
How long has it been going on?
Ooh.
Let's go 6 months.
Okay. All right. That's me then, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Suspect you.
Queen lights a fire in you. What is it?
Oh.
What's the good way to go with this? I've got two things. One's definitely juicier than the other. So either I'm also an aspiring actress, or I'm, like, actually in love with her.
Ooh.
Ooh. So many love triangles.
I don't know which one. What do you all think?
But who's the murderer?
Am I the murderer? Is the fire of murder?
Is there a murderer on set?
Yeah.
You murdered her because you love her?
You love
Yandere
her
moment?
Too much.
No.
Oh no.
No.
I'm I'm just gonna say both. She inspires me as an actress, and I want to be able to I want to be noticed by her and be brought into this to the acting circle. And I think I've probably been an assistant, whatever, the lowest person on the studio totem pole. Not an intern, it's an actual job, but for a long time, for years, and the desire for her to notice me has warped into this obsession with her.
Ooh.
Ooh. Spicy.
Yep, that's my answer.
That brings it back around to me.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh no, things are getting
Oh
real
my god.
spicy.
Escalated quickly.
The queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who? What happened?
Just to remind you, you can pass if you want to.
I don't really want to. I like this.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
Oof. See, I think the main question is, was it murder or was it an accident?
Is this a physical murder or a social?
Yeah.
Oh, like a figurative death?
Like the death of their career.
That's a good thought. I don't think I want it to be physical murder because I feel like that would be a little bit extreme for this particular circumstance. So
Yeah.
I like your suggestion of social murder.
Another writer?
I was gonna say, I feel like there was somebody I worked in very close association with.
A mentor or something.
I like that. I like that thought. And she publicly dragged him for some of his scripts, just absolutely shaming some of the things that he wrote for her and saying how they were her least favorite things that she ever had to act in were written by him. And this interview just went absolutely completely public, and then nobody would ever hire him to scriptwrite again.
Did her agent have a hand in this?
Is this something I know about?
You definitely know about it.
I know about it. I feel like I don't know whether this is something that would catch my mind or whether this is just normal behavior for her.
I was wondering if you orchestrated it.
Let's see. Hold on. What were the movies? If I orchestrated it, what were the movies and how did they do?
It wasn't Whisper Girl. Whisper Girl was a classic.
Absolutely.
Whisper Girl was
Oh yeah.
I would say it was probably Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I would say it was probably Devil's Dog.
I feel like it was both Devil's Dog and Night Nurse. He was a writer on both the movies. They didn't do very well at all. And so we wanted a fall guy to keep her career going. So we blamed the writer.
Yep.
Ooh, strategic.
And I would say, I have no idea that you know this person, but I know we certainly got rid of another writer so that we could keep her career going.
Mm.
So what are your feelings about this? Like your mentor was destroyed. What? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, are you worried she's gonna do the same to you? She slapped a script out of your hand.
I think that since the queen knows we love her because that's the whole premise of the game, I still respect her as an actress, but I am just not even necessarily scared that she's gonna do the same. I feel like my character's yeah, you can try.
Mhm.
You want to try? Yeah, so I don't know that I'm necessarily scared, but I'm definitely not happy with her about it. I'm not happy about the fact that that could happen. Like, the thought of it is a little tiny bit troubling, but mostly I'm just irritated.
Yeah, as long as the movies do good, you're like you're on the rise with her.
Exactly.
If these movies do bad, I will burn all of you.
Hmm,
All right, is that it for that one?
think I'm good.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Back to me. You suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiation. What else do you believe is going on and why? So this movie's more than just a movie? Well, we've already established that this is like her debut as like a director.
Right. But it's not just
Yeah, it's not just that. What else
I mean,
could she be up?
you kind of already answered this, sort of, by making it a mission to fail the mission.
Like that's my purpose, but I'm curious like what would be another reason she would be doing this movie? I honestly am not sure. I am very much open to ideas.
is she like trying to make a bigger move than jumping to a director? Is she like leaving behind horror?
Is she Oh, that could be part of it. The other question I had is she trying to leave like her family legacy behind? Is she trying to separate herself from her family and just do it all on her own?
That could be interesting. Because,
Also
like,
interesting because you probably think that's a terrible idea.
Oh yeah, no, if she's making bank off her family name, like that's awful.
yeah, and then Violet's just like, yeah, everything's going great. Why would you want to, like, break off from the family? We all love you. But, like, really, the only person who's, like, fully supportive of her career choices is Violet. The rest are just rich assholes.
What gave you that impression that that's what's happening?
For me or for Violet?
For you?
I feel like she's approached the idea to me a while back in the past that she wanted to create like her own project and like do this all her own, just as like a sign of independence. And at the time, I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then as she's moved into this project, I'm like, no, wait, you're actually doing it. No, this is a terrible idea.
Like, initially, it was just, like, schmoozing, like, yeah, whatever you want, like, you're the star. And it's just like, oh, wait, shit, no.
Like, oh, no, no, wait, you actually are trying to do. No, you don't have the resources, you don't have the money. This isn't going to work.
You don't have the talent.
Maybe that's part of it. She does have like the actorial talent to pull something off.
But
But I
like,
just,
directing is a whole different animal.
oh,
Right.
yeah. Real talk. Is this movie, because I assume we're like in the process of producing it. Is this movie good or bad?
Well,
Well, I think your whole thing, right, is you're trying to sabotage it.
True.
So
Through whatever I can pull.
either it
But,
is
like-
going suspiciously good and you're trying to destroy it, or it's going really bad, but it's because of your work.
Does she have the talent to pull off what she is trying to do?
I don't know. Katie thinks it's amazing. She believes in Veronica 100% and thinks that it's
Katie believes. I don't. I don't know where the others sit.
going to be a
if
classic.
she's trying to break away from like her family name, does that mean she's also trying to break away from horror? Because if that's the case, then I definitely join this project to like break out of horror with her, you know? Because like if we've started multiple movies of horror together. We're trying to bust into a new genre. I totally believe in it. Like,
Maybe
I'm all for
she's
that.
working more in like what Violet, like the type of movies Violet makes.
ooh,
And like I'm kind of her leading lady now because like in terms of like the business, like seeing this idea, I think a lot of people are in Ian's character's mindset of just like, what the fuck are you doing? But Violet's just like, if you need an actress, like I'll just do it. Like I support you. The question is, what kind of genre would that be? That
Could we do
Violet's
like
in.
could we do like the scene of like this playing out in like when Veronica like drops this news or
Yeah.
like this idea? And I guess she's not saying like I'm gonna get out from the family business, but like telling, I don't know who would be there. I guess the screenwriter, the agent, the sister for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is this her pitching the idea of what she's going to do?
The idea of this movie, yeah.
Okay. Do we think it's like what? I'm trying to think of like what the opposite of like horror would be. Is like she trying to do like a comedy or like a
Rom-com?
romance?
Or like a twist on horror.
ooh, she's trying to do a Get Out in a world of aliens.
Yeah.
She's trying to do some Inception style stuff but I mean, all she has done before is Scream.
Can we like just see, could like play it out, like see what
Yeah.
what it is.
Mhm.
I'm imagining like her apartment in Hollywood. She's obviously there. Who wants to play Veronica for this scene?
Well,
Oh, who's all there?
I think me and Ian are out of the question because
Yeah, you would
we're
definitely
there
be there.
in the scene.
Screenwriter is there, I think.
Would it be the other actor then?
Yeah, it'd probably be me then.
Or it's either screenwriter, because the two people who probably wouldn't be there would be security intern or other actor.
Yeah.
Security intern. I forgot about that for a second.
Security intern. I don't mind playing Veronica.
Okay.
Cool. And the names of everyone. So far we have Katie, correct?
Mhm.
We have Katie, Veronica, blank. Oh, Violet.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna go with Matthew for the agent.
And other actor's name is Brock. Because of
Oh
course.
my
he is.
god. Yeah, he's like that already just gives me such big himbo energy and I love it so much.
Yes.
And what's the name of the screenwriter?
I hate making up names.
Hey, what you do is just make an alliteration. We have Veronica Vanderbilt. We can just all have like double names. I'll be Matthew Mason.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Katie Kent.
Katie Kent.
Brock Budwhyser.
I have to type this
Yes.
out again.
I think I'll go with Annie Aston.
Ooh, I like that.
You say Matthew Mason?
Yes.
Okay. And Brock? Not
Brock
actually
Budwhyser.
Okay.
I'm already hit. The name is so ridiculous that I have to headcanon that this is just his stage name and like his actual name is like the dorkiest thing possible. Like,
Yeah.
this is just wreaking pure masculinity in such a fake way.
When he was younger, he had like glasses and braces. So like they had to separate
Aw.
him from that.
Yeah, they got to rebuild his
He'll have glasses, but he's like the steamy kind of glasses, or is he just like
No,
contacts and
like he's had to have corrective eye surgery because of his Coke bottle glasses as a kid.
Oh,
All right. So, yeah, I guess Violet has like asked everyone to her apartment.
or Veronica.
Veronica,
Oh,
yes.
Don't get
Katie's
the
like,
don't get the sisters confused.
What was the screenwriter's name?
Annie, I believe. Annie asked.
Annie, what was the last name?
Aston.
Aston. Thank you. Okay, so like Veronica would have everybody over to her apartment, and she'd have a bunch of pink folders with her vision board in each one, and like her ideal setting list so that they could pick out the location and like all of this stuff that she put together. It's just like the little binders that she does for each of her characters, but it's for like a movie concept. And she brings you guys all over, and it's just like, this is my new project. Take a look, take a gander. I'm not taking no's, but I am taking suggestions.
And what kind of project is this? And I'll start flipping through some of the binders.
Katie will very quietly like walk around and hand everyone a folder.
It's a movie. A movie, Matthew. But I'm going to direct it.
You're going to
Oh.
direct it.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that we can work something like that out. What do you have in mind? Is this going to be like The Pit, or is this going to be more like Terror's of Starry Creek? What do you think?
No, nothing like I've ever done before. It's got more of a sophisticated air about it. I want romance. And I want mystery.
So, like, Whisper Girl? I don't know. What are we thinking here?
Well, as long as it's not like surgery sugar, I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
No more sugar.
Katie really liked surgery sugar, so she kind of like bites her tongue.
Annie cringes at the memory of having to write those scenes.
I'm picturing surgery sugar like a very campy and like almost like weirdly like hypersexual type of thing, like a Jennifer's Body. So I would love it as Megan, but Violet
Why do I feel like there was candy in the
it.
movie somehow, though? Like a major candy theme, which just felt weird and out of place.
Yeah. It's actually about a dentist.
That could be terrifying. So, what kind of settings are you thinking? Any ideas for actors? What kind of deal are we talking about?
Yes, I want Brock as my lead man. He has so much more range than he's ever been given.
Brock.
Yes.
Brock Budwhyser. Okay. I thought we were gonna try some new ones. I mean, he's good, but I feel like there's so much more you could do. You could work with.
Yes, but I'm not going to be the star of this picture. Violet is.
I am.
She is?
Violet. I can't very well be both the lead and the director. Though I will play a small role.
Of course,
But-
that makes sense.
You and Brock have been doing pictures together for at least 5 years now. Why on earth would you switch yourself out for me?
Well, Brock and I are close, but his acting could be so much more if he just had more direction. And I can do that for him.
You can also do that as his leading lady.
I'd be so distracted by my own character. I have a vision, and this horror movie needs more depth than any other horror movie's ever had before. I want to merge genres.
More depth than merging genres. Okay, what type of genres are we thinking? If I'm gonna start reaching out to people, I need to know.
Well, it's suspense and horror and a bit of rom-com.
Rom-com?
Suspense and horror and rom-com. Okay.
Yes, it's set in a very desolate town. But it's a love story, but there's murder in it.
Hey, I know just the spot.
Oh, you have a spot.
The town I grew up in is called Cody, Wyoming, and there's very little going on out there.
That's perfect.
Cody, Wyoming.
Do they have antelopes?
All of them. All of them.
This sounds amazing.
We'll workshop it. We'll see. I can reach out to some of the guys and get some ideas about side locations. Now, I'll reach out to your father and pitch the idea to him. If you want to give me all the information, I can see what he thinks.
No, don't tell Daddy.
Wait, what do you mean?
I don't want Daddy's help producing this.
What do you mean you don't want Daddy's help producing it?
I want my name on it. I don't want the family name on it. I want to prove that I can do this on my own.
Veronica,
Completely. Financially, logistically, everything. No help at all.
Not from the family. I have friends that are producers. I'm sure some of them will help me.
are they good producers? Look, your family's been in this business a long time. I mean, we know people. We can get connected. You have good connections already. Why would you want to try something new?
I don't want Daddy showing up to the site. He lords over it all and takes over direction and just tells me what to do, and it's never my project. I want my project.
I mean, she's not wrong there. Daddy is very demanding.
Your father knows a lot about the business. His wisdom it's well earned.
Yes, but he's so controlling.
How about this? We start with a short film, we run it through the festival circuit, we see how it goes. If that gets successful, then maybe we can consider doing a full-length feature.
That's a wise idea.
All right. I do need to wet my teeth in directing a bit.
If you give me the numbers or names of people you're interested, I can reach out and see. I can find some people. I'm gonna need any information you can give me so I can reach out to the right people.
And what the hell? I'll be your leading lady.
Yay! You'll do so well, Violet.
Oh, thank you. I love you, sister.
I love you too.
Sounds like the end of the scene, maybe.
Matthew just starts jotting notes. I think it goes on for a while of him asking questions and bouncing off ideas.
And she's just going through her phone and like all of her contacts that are like rich. She's like giving to her agent to be like, this one will pay me stuff and this one will pay me stuff.
And I feel like there definitely is a conversation where, like, Violet's like, Veronica, can Eric come? Like, the guy she's been, like, kind of messing around with. Oh. Maybe he can get a role. He's very talented.
Eric, has he worked in any of our films?
Yes, and he was in, I mean, he works more in comedies, but you wanted a sprinkle of rom-com, right?
I do. You're right. He would balance out Brock pretty well. Yeah. I suppose he can come.
All right, so Eric Easton added to the list. Perfect. I'll let him know.
And Annie is just sitting there very quietly the whole time thinking, I write Kill, Murder, Death. How do I do this?
How do rom-com?
In his head, Matthew, like, this is going to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Maybe this is like Annie's big break, too. I don't know. To get out of horror. So is everybody going to Wyoming under the impression that we're making a short film while Veronica is actually planning to make a full feature.
Yes.
That would
feel
actually
like
be
that'd
kind
be-
of funny.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I mean, I
she
guess Veronica.
probably has little to no concept about actually how much money it takes to make a movie.
Mhm.
So everybody else is going out there with a budget for a small film, and she's like, "But it could be a whole movie, though."
Mhm.
Like,
I feel like Matthew is like,
sister, can you give me more money?
I love the idea of you just getting money from your rich friends to pay the film,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or our queen getting the money to.
No, I'm getting it from my rich friends for sure.
Right.
They're all like, "Yeah, whatever."
That was fun. Okay, Pan, it's your turn to draw a card.
Oh, fun. You saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? Did you come to respect her more or less afterwards? Ooh. Ooh, you know what? I think this was the interview. I think we were the one where she ruined that poor writer.
Oh no!
It was a cast like group interview. Like, you know how they do those like panels of like the two leads talking to whoever for Netflix or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's the two of us sitting there like having this interview, and I watched her just like rip apart this poor script writer and his dialogue and blah 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 and all that stuff. And I think, did you come to respect her more or less afterwards? I think Brock probably respected her a little less because, like, during the project, she seemed to have no qualms about it, and all of a sudden, she's like, has all these opinions about prose and stuff when she doesn't really know how to write a script in the first place. So I feel like he respects her a bit less after like destroying somebody's career, which she has no ability to do.
Did you defend him?
I don't think I could, because Veronica is definitely an A star and I'm a B star. So I don't think I have the clout to go against her in an interview, but I definitely talked to her afterwards and was like, "What was that?"
Right. Sounds like it's me.
Mhm.
Ooh, you've ripped apart this poor fantasy script writer.
No, poor guy.
Wow. You are considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. Oh wait, it's not my turn, is it? It's not my turn.
You
No, I
sure?
think it is, isn't it?
No,
Wait.
it's Meg's turn.
Oh my
well,
god,
there you
I
go.
am considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception? I think, yeah, I think this also like stems from like the whole like jealous that like she's like kind of has a boyfriend slash fling slash like friends with benefits situation. It's a situationship for sure. I think, especially being the older sister, um, Veronica like is like, oh, is that like a gray hair I see, or like, oh, like have you been getting enough sleep? You have bags under your eyes, just like things to like make Violet feel like older than she actually is, even though she's not that much older than Veronica.
Mm.
And I think like Violet definitely does like modeling on the side as well, so I think just like doubly like Veronica is just very jealous in the way that like a little sister is jealous of an older sister.
Because you're
I'm just
casting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just really hyping myself up here.
Does your casting in the movie reflect her jealousy at all? Did she like she's cast you as like the leading lady, but is she like having people write things that aren't super flattering or like having scenes that aren't like throw you through the mud or something like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's definitely like an element like the rom-com part that definitely puts the cum on or the comedy on Violet's end. Like she kind of becomes like the butt of a joke a few too many times.
The real
Uh,
love story is between Brock and Eric in the movie. She's
I
the
was
third
gonna
wheel.
ask if he was gay. I was gonna ask if he was gay.
Brock might be secretly bi, for sure.
We love that for him.
Has Violet acted before?
Yeah, she's doesn't have like the same kind of like portfolio that that Veronica probably has, but she's been in a few like pretty well received films. Like I would say she's just like more choosy about the stuff that she takes on, so it kind of was a shock where she was just like, yeah, I'll take on your dumpster fire film, sister. Yeah.
All right, now it's my turn to draw a card. Weird. The queen sometimes shows interest in your personal life. How do you respond to that and why?
Oh.
Hmm.
That's like the breadcrumbing thing of like that's constantly like making someone more obsessed with somebody.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I can actually see her taking an interest in.
I do have one suggestion, maybe.
Yeah.
Is like maybe you two are around the same age, but like because of Veronica's kind of career, or actually, no, this wouldn't quite work because we already established that she has a lot of friends that are rich. But I
Yeah.
was gonna say it could be a thing where like because she doesn't have a lot of friends, and like you're close in age, like she's just like wants someone to like gossip with and have that kind of kinship with.
Oh, just because her friends are rich, I doubt they're her age. Like
Oh, true.
they're probably a bunch
Also,
of old men.
they could be incredibly fake as well
Exactly.
and like not genuine.
Yeah, I think maybe it's partly that, and sometimes like when she's just exhausted and like feeling burned out and doesn't want to keep up the image for a minute, she'll like in the dressing room or backstage or something. I guess not backstage, it's not a stage, but she'll just like start asking Katie questions just to like it's Katie definitely thinks that it's genuine and like like real genuine interest. I don't know if it is or not. But I mostly respond by embellishing and trying to make myself seem more interesting. And I try to drop hints about acting,
Mhm.
which she doesn't seem to really pick up on.
Yeah.
But
I could see it as like she's using it more of an avenue to talk about herself and talk about her life, but it's like, but what about you? Just to like make up for the
Yeah.
fact that like she's gossiping about like her entire personal life.
I
Like
think it's more
maybe
like she doesn't want to talk about her life for a second and like just wants
gotcha.
to shut off. And maybe she is interested. I'm from everything that we've described about her so far, it doesn't seem like it, but people are complicated. Um,
Maybe she's
Yeah.
more like interested in what normal people do with their lives.
yeah.
But like she
True.
would definitely not ask you those personal questions in front of other people.
Oh
I
no, it's
know.
always like in like a moment when I'm taking notes or like bringing her a muffin or something like that.
Mhm.
Very private. But I definitely want her to think that my life is more interesting than it actually is.
I kind of love that. It's like, God, I hope she thinks I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is very quickly turning into that horror movie where the like popular girl is murdered by the unpopular girl because they want
Oh,
her
no.
life.
Yeah.
Bringing back Jennifer's body a little bit.
Yes.
To make it worse, it's the security guard who would be the killer.
Oh. Oh, shoot. Yeah, okay. We good?
I think we're good,
Cool.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yum. Oh. You think of someone in this retinue as the queen's favorite. Who? What makes you think this? Oh, geez. I'd say from what I know about, like, everybody in general, I'd say I think that it's Brock. But that's mainly because I see her on set, and I see how they act with each other, so I probably think that it's Brock because of the way that they act towards each other on set. I assume that they have a similar relationship outside, even though that may not be the case.
Interesting. Questions about that?
Nah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm curious who the queen's favorite actually is.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
We may never know.
I also wanted to bring up I feel like just from like Pan's answers, Brock does not like Veronica in that way, but does Veronica have a crush on Brock?
Ooh. I don't know. Am I supposed to answer? Who's answering?
I feel
think
like
that's just
from the snapshot we got of Veronica, she has interest, or at least she like he's a go-to guy for her.
I don't
Maybe-
think she perceives him as like as talented. Like we kind of said, like, oh, he has potential, but I think he's still like an absolute dreamboat of a guy otherwise.
And that's the reason that she wants him in her movie that she's directing as the lead, because she wants him to move up the social ladder enough that it would be acceptable to date him.
Ooh, tea.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, like, coming back to your card, like, is there some like like something that you've seen that nobody else has that makes you think that, or like a change that she's asked you to make to the script or something?
Oh, I definitely think that she's asked me to write in, like, scenes where they can get, like, a little bit closer, or, like, give Brock more screen time to try to get him on the same level, or, like, write something that might inspire some bout of, like, better acting somehow.
But also,
Yeah.
like, maybe if you could get him to take his shirt off, that would be cool too.
Definitely for surgery sugar, she asked that.
It's just like, this is about the dentist. Why does he need to take his shirt off? It's just like, please.
Like
he
that,
has such good abs.
that one demon in the good place who just is like, I'm going to the gym every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. The queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Why?
I can't imagine why.
Oh no!
Okay, so
Right, you can
rewriting
just set
some
that one
things.
aside.
Yeah, gotta rewrite Violet's intents a little bit, because we originally said that that Matthew and Violet were kind of in cahoots to make sure that her stuff was in line. Now I think it's a little bit more Violet is very supportive of Veronica's dreams to be a director, and like absolutely can clock that Matthew does not want to be a part of this project whatsoever, and like may or may not be tattling to their dad, which Veronica explicitly said not to do.
I'll throw a little spice in there too. I think both Brock and Annie have figured out somehow through the grapevine or through conversations they might have overheard that Matthew coached Victoria on how to just flame the screenwriter.
Ooh, yeah. Because I did ask her right after the interview what the fuck that was. I'm sure she told me. If she has
Yeah,
this
or I was
fucked up
there
on
and I
her.
met with her and you saw a meeting or something like that. But I think, yeah, you two definitely know And I wouldn't say Matthew's even like a sleazy guy, but he's doing what he thinks is best, but not doing it very well.
Yeah, like he's been in the industry a long time, like he knows how to get what he wants, but like it's not what Veronica wants is the problem.
Yeah. I think he honestly cares about Veronica's career and just honestly thinks this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And so he just wants to shut it down because it's a terrible idea. And this isn't the first time he's done bad things to save her career.
He might actually be the hero of the story.
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
It's like an anti-hero kind of thing.
Yeah.
Agent. But yeah, I think definitely like that would be the reason why no one trusts Matthew.
Nobody trusts the agent.
Oh well, except for Veronica because I try to give her good advice.
Why does Katie not trust Matthew?
Ooh.
Ooh, that is a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. One, just from that meeting where Veronica pitched her idea, Matthew was very dismissive and does not seem to recognize her genius.
Obviously.
Which I think is a good reason to distrust. What would Matthew have done, or how would he have responded if Katie, at some point in the past, came to him about like trying to get her foot in the door as an actress?
How good an actress is she?
don't
Or
know.
another question is she good enough that if she got into the business, she could be a threat to Veronica?
Ooh.
Countering that, would Matthew even have given her the chance to show off her skills?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think he would, because he's an agent. He wants to make money. But like, if there's a problem to what is already like a golden goose, he'd shut it down.
Yeah, well, she's been like shadowing Veronica for a long time, and maybe like if she was similar to anyone as an actress, it would be Veronica. So maybe that.
Here's what I would say, and it's terrible. I think Matthew is trying to stall out Katie by like encouraging her, but also like because she's coming to him to try and get gigs, he's also stalling and being like, no, hold off a little bit. I'm still looking for something. He's trying to find the right project to put her on that will also steer her away from where he's making his money. But by doing that, he's just like, hey, we don't have anything for you yet. Keep up the good work, champ.
And so it's like kind of gotten to the point where Katie is kind of picking up on this pattern.
Yeah.
And therefore is just like, this guy sucks.
Right.
I feel terrible for this character I've created.
Yeah.
I like him. He's very complex.
Going back to that very first question that I had where Katie was locked outside of the studio and I said that one of you shut the door in her face and one of you like came and sympathized. Weird way to go with this. I think Matthew came and sympathized. And
I agree.
Violet shut the door in her face.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'll accept it.
Yeah, I'm good with
Because
that.
I think Violet would have just like immediately like saw her sister upset and been like, "What did he do?" Even though like it was kind of her fault inadvertently.
Right.
I think Matthew was like, look, she just does this. Get over it. You'll be fine. Maybe that's how Katie started to introduce himself, or that's how like they met. And he sees her potential, so he keeps talking to her, but also wants to try and hold her off for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Right.
What a great group of people.
Welcome to Hollywood.
And I think it's your card.
Whose card? Me?
Yours, yeah.
I got it.
All right.
Oh no.
Oh,
No, that's not true.
Can't be true.
we have. I think you can X card it, right? If we disagree with it.
Unless you want to pass it to somebody else.
It's it. Oh.
Wait. It kind of fits though. If you read both parts.
You are considered ugly by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception? But we've already established that he's really hot.
Yeah,
That's true.
he's a bimbo hunk.
Yeah.
But what if he wasn't? But the queen thinks he is.
Could it be a personality thing?
His
Oh,
personality
yeah.
is terrible.
An awful person.
I fully support you just Xing this if you want to, but
We haven't X'd
Um,
anything yet.
Hold on, maybe
I-
you're not a terrible person. Maybe you're just really, really awkward sometimes.
That's fair.
It could be one of those people who just is ignorant of things.
Or, like-
We did establish that he grew up ugly. So maybe he just acts like a nerd sometimes,
Maybe.
like most of the time.
So, you know how, like, there's movies like Little Shop of Horrors and, like, that kind of thing, where it's very much, like, dorky, unassuming guy, like, dates super hot woman, and that's just kind of the butt of the joke. It could be that, and then, like, maybe this movie that, Veronica is making is kind of, like, her trying to help the world see the Brock that she sees inside, like the hot.
I don't
The
think
hot
so,
guy.
though, because we've already established that he was her leading man in like 2 movies.
True.
There.
What if
Okay.
it's like what if it's like a Henry
just
Cavill
episode.
thing where he's handsome, but he likes like Warhammer and like nerdy topics?
Yeah, he grew up ugly, so he's still a nerd on the inside.
not everyone you met thinks that you're ugly. I say exit.
Okay, I would agree. If we're gonna
Yeah,
go with
Yeah.
Draw another
how-
card.
okay, I draw another card.
We tried to make it work. It did not work.
The queen gave you a compliment once. What was it, and why have her words stay with you? Ooh.
That's better.
Okay, so at the end of a particularly like dramatic scene in one of our movies together, she like turned to me at the end of the scene and was like, "Wow, I forgot you were Brock."
Mhm.
And that's what I remember.
Does Brock try to not be Brock anymore after that?
No, like it's more of like she was like saying like, "Well, I was so you were the character. There was no you anymore. You embodied the character." So he was like, that was the peak. I'm always trying to get that feeling of being so immersed in the character that she forgets that I'm Brock, but I am the character. Like,
So what I'm hearing is Brock Budwhyser was a former theater kid.
yes, absolutely.
You already established that Brock thinks that Veronica is just like an amazing actress, so
The
that
best
is
actress in the
Mhm.
whole world.
But like a terrible person.
Yes.
like, yeah.
Brock
She's
and Katie have like a
focused on her-
secret fan club.
She's focused on her art. She has no brain space left for morals. So
So are you like trying to get that, like trying to get like chasing the dragon, trying to get that compliment again?
oh yeah, he's constantly trying to be the best actor he can ever be. So that like especially in this production that they're doing, like she's his director, right? So like he's constantly trying to embody this character that she sees in her vision. He's trying to get that compliment again for sure.
Why do I feel like Brock's the hero here? He's supportive, works hard, has high like moral standards.
He's an underdog for sure.
Yeah. Meg,
All right.
you all have a
the queen-
complicated relationship.
The queen thinks more highly of you than you do of yourself. How do you know this? Well, I mean, that tracks, because like, if she's jealous of Violet, then, like, for sure, like kind of puts Violet on a pedestal in a lot of ways. How do I know this? I think just like to the degree of like how much Veronica comes to Violet for advice. Because I think like they're very close. It's just the fact that Veronica has like a lot of like hidden like envy and like stuff like that she hasn't really expressed. Because I feel like all they really need to do is have a conversation to make things better. It's definitely like one of those types of like internal conflicts. But yeah, like as far as Violet knows, like they're very tight and like it's just like, oh yeah, she comes to me for advice all the time and like I feel like as kids, like Veronica did like the thing that like all kids do where it's just like I want to do the same thing my big sister is doing because she's doing it. And maybe that's like part of why she got into acting.
So why does Violet not think that highly of herself?
I think it's just the sort of duality of like you get complimented on your appearance and your talent and your all this stuff. But you also recognize that you're in a business and your family is very powerful in a lot of ways. So it's just like I think everyone is like complimenting her, but like in a very fake way. Like just to make her happy so that like they can do business.
All right. Sounds like we're done with that one.
Yeah.
Me. No.
Oh god.
Oh,
You arranged for the queen to be ambushed on this journey. What did they offer you?
Oh no.
Yeah, okay. We're definitely going to have to take an interesting take on ambushed.
There's a paparazzi ambush.
Yeah,
did
that's what
you
I'm
like
thinking.
get some of your paparazzi friends in on this?
I don't know, paparazzi friends. I think probably what I did was like leaked details. Like this is probably like really hush hush. I bet Violet has worked hard to make sure that people don't know like there isn't like press going on about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, Matthew, what did you offer me?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh.
Ooh.
I think
We kinda
I
already
offered
know.
you a break. I
Yeah.
think, I think I'm like, okay, I'll give you an opportunity, but you got to do something.
Do you want to play that out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Like, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I want the opportunity. I've been working so hard for it. But what can I do? What more can I possibly do?
Well, look, there's just not a lot of opportunities in the market. There's not a lot of projects going on, and I mean, we're all busy with Veronica's project here. There is a chance. I don't want to get your hopes up, but we could have a film coming down the pipeline. We want to get Veronica on it. I've been talking with her father. We're hoping to get her back leading that. But there is the potential for a side gig, but we do need to get Veronica focused and get her attention on that.
Yeah. So after this shoot is done?
Yeah. Here, I'll shoot you some emails. I have some ideas. We can work something out. We'll get you on the screen. You've been waiting a long time. I want to work this through with you. I'll send you some emails. Think we can work something out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mason. I won't let you down.
Hey, no problem, Katie. I'm rooting for you. I'm sure we can figure something out for you.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess Katie has like access to like scripts and like filming times and all kinds of information that she could. Are you thinking like Matthew is directly saying to do that, or
I think Matthew sent her emails asking her to be like, hey, send these people some information they need to know. Didn't tell her who she was sending it to, but like gave maybe like she sent him her emails like, hey, these are some locations. Can you send it to these people? They need to know. She sent the people. Those were like people who aren't supposed to know.
Yeah.
And like maybe he sent her some script edits that he had some other writer personally edit so that she could like slip it in and get like change the script around so it wasn't as good.
Brutal.
Would he have leaked anything to media outlets?
Probably not himself, but through Katie.
Yeah, I think Katie
had
did.
Katie send. Yeah, definitely had Katie send stuff to certain media outlets.
Yeah, I think the ambush is like reporters descending on the set, and not the nice reporters.
If I may,
Summon in the vultures.
if I may do a part 2 scene,
Yeah.
I would love to get Violet cussing Matthew out, or not cussing, but like just being like, "How the hell did this happen?"
I'm down for a round 2.
Yeah.
And just to like finish off the card, I think Katie like you're being like smarmy about it, but I think Katie knew also what she was doing.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
In that case, why would Katie go along with it? Like, does her love for acting and like her career like ascend her love for Veronica?
She just wants Veronica to notice her.
Oh.
Oh,
Even if it's in a bad way?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
that's so sad.
I love that.
All the drama.
The drama.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead with your scene.
I think Matthew's sitting in his office working through some papers.
Veronica like busts in, like kind of like swings the door open. There's like a secretary that's like tailing her, being like, "Miss Vanderbilt, stop!" And it's just like, how did this happen? We have been giving this incredibly hush-hush this entire time. And all of a sudden, media reporters are outside our house asking about a brand new film by Veronica Vanderbilt. How did this happen?
I don't know. I have people looking into it. It's caught me off guard as well. I'm not sure. Do you want to take a
better
seat?
have people looking into it.
I always have people looking into it, Miss Vanderbilt.
Don't Miss Vanderbilt me.
Violet, look. Stuff like this happens. We should have had our security more on top of it. It'll cost us a few days in production. We'll get these guys out of here. We'll figure things out.
You better.
Good for your sister. She can learn how to deal with the press herself.
We've been dealing with the press for years, since we were babies. We don't need a training program on how to deal with the press. And if anything, her press training is on you. You're supposed to tell her how to deal with this.
Yeah, well, if she wants to make her own way, she's going to have to learn to handle some things by herself. That's just how the world works. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to try and figure out how to deal with the press.
Yeah, because how the world works is we pay you to deal with that shit. Remember who pays your paychecks.
I'm well aware. Miss Vanderbilt.
And like she storms off, and she's just like, "Get me my coffee."
Katie runs to get her coffee.
A deep breath from Matthew.
Boom.
Right. Chloe, I think.
Cool. Huh.
Oh, tea.
Oh no, more love triangles.
Can you feel
We
the
have like a
love
love.
tonight?
We have like a love and doheka teacher at this point.
Everyone's in love except for Matthew. Matthew's like, forget it. I'm making money.
I'm too old for this.
There is someone else in this retinue you love besides the queen. How and why are you keeping it a secret? Oh, jeez.
Are you in love with Brock?
And that's why you're so okay writing up good scenes for him?
You're like, yes, of course I want to see him without a shirt on.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, it says love. That also doesn't necessarily mean romantic.
It's true.
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 Because I feel like Annie, being as worldly wise as she is, would just be trying desperately to keep, like, an eye on Katie and, like, dissuade her from her obsessiveness. Like, this person is not good. But maybe not. I don't know. I say it's either Katie or Brock, and Katie would be platonically, like, sisterly, hey, Dad, no, and Brock would be, yeah, I'd help further that guy's career.
Yeah, I can see Annie as kind of like the person that's like sitting in the corner constantly, like observing, taking notes, so like kind of knows everything that's going on and could take that that view of Katie, I guess. It could go either way.
Yeah.
Matthew's a real charmer too.
I
Well,
have
I'm more curious,
absolutely zero respect for Matthew after what he did to my mentor.
Well, you were talking about how you're warning Katie off. I'm like, are you warning her off of Veronica, or are you warning her off of Matthew?
Whoa.
Freaking both.
Like, get out of the industry. It's too toxic.
Yeah. No, I do think that I prefer the, taking a sisterly approach to Katie and being like, so, you got guts and you got talent. You're about to get yourself involved with the wrong type of people, kid.
So how and why are you keeping it a secret?
I'd say working with Veronica and with Matthew has gotten me pretty far in my career as a writer so far, and I don't exactly want to put that in jeopardy, so I don't want it to go about, I am spreading stuff about them behind their backs, because that is absolutely not what I would ever do. I would never do that. And as far as how, I probably, not necessarily how I keep it a secret, but how I would go about it without, being horrendously obvious is hey, here's this other opportunity for things that don't involve these people. Or, hey, I casually saw they're having auditions for this thing. Just open audition. You could go do that. You could do literally anything you wanted.
You don't have to go through Matthew to get, far in life. There are other agents who are, less weird and are better people.
Exactly.
Are there?
Are there?
I mean,
Well, I like it.
on to Matthew?
Believe so.
What do you do for the queen that anyone else can do, and why does she make you do it?
Ooh, she makes you do it.
Yeah, why does she make you do it? I think specifically, especially on this job site, there's something that she's trying to, of course, show her independence and separate herself. And because I've worked with her for so long with her dad, I feel like she's trying to not align me with her. I don't know. I'm trying to think it through. I think the real question is whether this is a menial task or something.
Anyone else can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyone else can do it, but Matthew, she has Matthew do it.
Even Katie could do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor Katie.
I don't know. I feel like Matthew's one of like the people she wouldn't trust the most. I'm trying to think why she would have Matthew specifically do something.
It could be just like a power play. Just like, remember your
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Get me a coffee.
Yeah, I think
I
your
think-
first card was like, how does she show you that she's superior or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I believe so. It was something like that. I
Yeah.
think
That one was about you can only go to her trailer when you're invited.
true. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe most everyone else gets to come and go freely, but for Matthew, it's more of like a specific invitation. Like, Matthew's not allowed to come over. Maybe Matthew, like, unless she requests to talk to her agent, they're just not supposed to interact. Or maybe, yeah, she takes Matthew for granted or only really talks to him when or when she needs something from him, or when he comes up with a good idea. Does that fit?
So it's not something like the way you're interpreting it is almost like not necessarily like this is a specific thing that only you do for her. It's something everyone does, but she has to specifically order you to do it.
No, no more on the lines of like something specifically that like she only makes Matthew do this. Everyone else gets like a free pass, but for Matthew specifically, he has to follow these set of rules.
Gotcha.
I think that fits, I think.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah. No, we've established that like the queen trusts Matthew, or in this case, she trusts Matthew, but like maybe she can sense there's still a little bit of like family loyalty.
Mhm.
So she like forces him to take some extra steps to prove that he's loyal to her.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other questions and ideas before we move on?
I think we got it.
What's Brock up to?
Yeah, what's Brock up to?
Let's see. You sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why? And why does this worry you?
Ooh. I
Okay.
was gonna say that was just such an obvious one, but I like the follow
Why
up.
does it worry?
So yeah, of course I think that I might be the queen's favorite because I'm Brock. But
Enough said.
I think it's also like he does notice that like a day ago I didn't have my shirt off in this scene and now I have my shirt in this scene. And I don't think it's Annie that's writing that for me. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And why does it worry me? It worries me because at least in this moment, she's my boss. Like she's the director. And like there's a lot of messiness that can happen
Mm.
if like the actor is fucking the director. So,
Honestly, I thought the answer was just Brock is gay.
it might also be that he's bi. So yeah, I think it's one, the messiness of like career entanglements. I think the other is that he also like isn't romantically attracted to her. Like
Is
he
there also a worry that when she compliments you, she's not really complimenting your acting?
yeah, she doesn't actually think my acting is great. She thinks my body's
Yeah.
great. So there's that worry for sure.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
am I
think
really?
just like internally in my head, I'm thinking of like Rock Hudson, like as big inspo for Brock Budwhyser, because his thing was very much the same. He was like this honky 80s actor and like just like the epitome of straightness essentially. And then he came out as gay and everyone was like, oh my God, wait, what?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of implications for me not being attracted to her.
Might go.
Yeah.
Boop. Uh, what do you do that is the queen on this journey? I think for Violet to some degree has a harder time saying no to Veronica. And so when it comes to like the sort of comedic aspects of this scene or like of the movie where like she ends up like getting mud on her and like just generally like a lot of things that she doesn't love doing and like kind of makes a fool out of herself, she has a hard time being like, couldn't we just get a stunt devil for this? Like, it's just like, no matter what, kind of allowing Veronica to have her vision without much, like, backlash or, like, protest. Any questions?
Do you feel like you're is there like a good feeling with this of like that you're pleasing her, or is it just humiliation and obligation?
I think it's mostly humiliation and obligation. Like, I think there's like a like, I just like want to make my sister happy, and like if this is what she wants, then I'll do it. But like, I think even though she doesn't like Matthew, she does acknowledge that he's kind of right in that this movie's gonna suck.
I still think it's going to be great.
Well, of course you do.
She's a genius after all.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Any more questions on that? I'm going for it.
Cool.
Go for it.
Oh, what do you do to disappoint the queen on this journey? What don't I do to disappoint the queen on this journey?
You made her coffee with almond milk instead of oat one time.
How dare you?
Do we think it comes out that I arranged the ambush?
Ooh.
Should it be a big disappoint? I'm gonna say instead that. Oh, something's shrieking. Instead, Veronica like caught wind that that Katie was like asking around about getting acting parts and felt like betrayed. Like, I rely on you, like I need you to do the things that you do for me. I can't have you like sneaking around trying to get a different job.
Yeah, I like that.
Does Veronica know that you've talked to Matthew about acting?
I don't know. I'm not sure that I've talked to anyone else about acting, so I think maybe it has to be that.
Uh-oh.
How she found out, I don't know.
I mean, that could be like an interesting thing of like the fact that Katie wants to be an actress and is just like, you've been using like my like position as a way to climb up the ladder. How dare you? Even though like nepotism is so common.
Yeah, it's like the one way things happen.
Either that or because we kind of mentioned that like Katie kind of like embellishes like her life stories to like make herself seem cooler. It could be just the case of Veronica finds out that Katie's not cool.
Yeah, I don't know how much Veronica really like paid attention.
Yeah, listen.
That's fair.
And probably the things that Katie said that she thought were cool, like Veronica like still thought were very ordinary.
It's just like, yeah, like one time my family went on a cruise and it's just like, yeah, and my family goes on cruises all the time. We have our private cruise ship.
Mm-hmm. Like I
go
went
on
to
constantly.
I went to a Hollywood party and I like stayed until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And she's like,
Whoa.
wait, you got there before 1 o'clock in the morning?
That's good.
Yeah, I think that is my answer.
All right.
Okay. Here we go again.
Hmm.
Does that apply?
Hmm.
That would take some like strong interpretation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
I
we
mean,
want
it
to
would
X
just be
that
like,
one?
what, you're uneasy of the movie that we're doing, I guess?
Yeah. Do we want to
I
X
think,
that one? It's not very interesting.
I think draw a different one and get something better
Yeah.
than that.
Okay.
I feel like we've really tackled that one.
For the listeners at home, the card was, who is this distant power you are traveling to and why do they make you uneasy?
Um,
Oh,
This
there
is
is
a
a
good one.
false rumor about you and the Queen back at the royal court. What is it and how did it start?
Ooh.
Oh,
it's a much better card.
Mm-hmm.
that is a much better card. So something that has been talked about on sets that's like a rumor that is just widespread.
Yeah.
Or like in the press or something.
Holy shoot, I've got one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do spill.
Yeah.
Okay, so in thinking about the way that my mentor went out, I also, as I was working on the scripts with him, would have had access to them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the rumor is that I worked in joint effort with the Queen to get him fired to move up the ladder.
Ooh.
And it started because there are suggestions that I take from her if I actually feel like they're good suggestions. So people had seen that I started to write in things that she suggested because she's not stupid. She can have good ideas. And they kind of just ran wild with it from there, like, oh, she wanted her mentor's job, and that's why she was the one who fed her all this info about the script writing to use against him in the interview.
Wow.
That's
I like
really good.
Yeah.
And also,
Cool.
like, very much takes the heat off of Matthew's back.
Really does.
Which,
Uh-huh. That works for Matthew.
Yeah, and say, because now all of you think that's the case too.
Mhm.
mhm. And
Except
then
for Matthew.
Matthew's like doing like evil like gestures, like mwahaha from his office.
And maybe that's also why Katie is hesitant to listen to me when I'm trying to suggest things to her.
Yeah,
She believes
absolutely.
it too.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
I think you're trying to get rid of me, just like you got rid of your mentor.
Ooh.
Oh.
Maybe Annie wants to be an actor this entire time. That's really good.
I like that.
Sure.
I feel like there could be some role play there between like Annie and Katie or something like that. Like we could have
Yeah.
some fun with that, Steve. I don't know. That's up to you guys.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
always down.
All right. Do you want to like play out that like Annie giving Katie advice thing? And like
Sure.
it could go from there.
Yeah. Hey, kid. I want to talk to you real quick. I'm a little worried.
Katie's probably like hurrying past like with an armful of papers or something like that to go photocopy. Like, hi, Miss Aston. Yeah, what can I get for you?
Oh, there's nothing I need. I wanted to caution you. I know you have a lot of respect for Veronica and a lot of respect for Matthew and what they do. There's like a lot of other opportunities. I don't want you to settle yourself into this role so fast when I can see that you're talented. Like you've read through some of my scripts out loud and I can see that you're talented. Like there's all these other avenues open. You could go to open auditions. There's all these things that you could do.
Yeah. Oh, you've heard me read?
Yes, I have heard you read and you're really good.
Thank you, Miss Aston. That means a lot to me. But I mean, I honestly, I feel like I've got my foot in here. I'm on a pretty good path.
All right, kid. Just Be careful. Watch your back.
She does that laugh and then kind of like stifles it. She's like, yeah, I mean, I know how people get ahead, and I don't want to do it like that, you know?
Annie kind of gets a little bit of a surprised but knowing look on her face, understanding that Katie believes the rumors that have been spread about too, because she's obviously heard them. She hears everything. And it's kind of like, all right, I've said my piece.
Probably like starts to take a step away and turns back and like a lower voice says like, I don't believe, by the way, that Veronica put you up to that, which people are saying. I know it was you all along. She wouldn't do that.
Annie laughs, understanding that she's either real naive or real whipped at this point, and understands that there ain't too much that she can do. She's like, I don't need to defend myself against things that aren't true. You have a nice day, and as I said, watch your back. And she kind of like walks back to the desk where she was bent over papers and writing and things.
And Katie hustles off, kicking herself for saying that, but yeah.
But you gotta defend Veronica, your beloved.
Yeah.
Oh, the pictures of the pieces of this painting like paint a very painful picture.
The tension on this set is off the charts.
Uh-huh.
Especially since, Katie does do bad things to get ahead, as seen in previous scenes.
This is just Hollywood, baby.
All right, Matthew.
All right, let's see what we get. Why do you think the queen trusts you enough to bring you on this journey?
This is a good question considering what has been previously established about Matthew.
It's really
because
true.
Matthew's good at lying to her and really good at hiding his intentions. Because he spent so much time just being there. Because especially since he helped coach her on how to save her reputation. I think that was one of the most honest things he's done with her, was being like, look, you need to save yourself a little bit here. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to do this because we need you to do it. And so I think she understands that he can be a little ruthless when needs be, but maybe she hasn't caught on yet that he's working against her.
Yeah, I vibe with that.
Or do you think it's the whole keep your enemies close thing of like, at least if she has you around, then...
Do we think she's smart enough to pick up on it?
I don't
don't know.
so.
No?
Well, the question is, why does Matthew think the queen trusts him enough? So
I think he feels like he's built up a repertoire enough, and because he honestly cares about her career that she trusts. So maybe he's a little blind to a fact that maybe she doesn't trust him. But because he wants the best for her career and to keep her going along the path that he and her family thinks is best for her, he's a little blind to the fact that maybe she doesn't trust him.
Yeah, because I think he very much knows that Violet doesn't trust him, but he's just like, yeah, I got Veronica right where I want her.
Yeah. I think he assumes that he's winning, so to speak. Whether or not he actually is, maybe that'll come out. I don't know.
We'll find
Who knows?
out.
If Veronica and Katie have like an open, honest conversation, things could come to light. Or who knows what could spark.
yep, she's got those emails.
True. Katie's got the dirt. Whether she spreads it or not is up to her.
Mm-hmm.
but Matthew thinks he's doing all right.
Just so everybody knows, I'm the end card isn't actually in the deck. I've been counting toward it, and we're getting close. So
Okay,
Oh, okay, cool. I was like,
things are
we're
heating up.
we're building a lot of stuff here. When's that attack card gonna come
Yeah.
up?
it's coming.
It's like things are getting spicy, and for what this, who knows what this attack is gonna look like.
True. All right, but okay, Pan.
Okay. What makes the queen ugly in your eyes?
Oh.
Ooh.
You get the best cards.
Well, he's seen her do some not nice things to people for the sake of her career. So that's definitely a factor in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's just she doesn't have a lot of room for morals and he likes those. So I feel like her inability to think about the consequences of her actions on the little guy makes her ugly to him. Like, she's only seeing the ramifications for her. She doesn't think about the fact that, like, locking Katie outside is gonna make her all wet and sad. Like, so her lack of empathy.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask because obviously, like, my character is her sister, and I mean, like, the worst we've really established with Violet is that she's sleeping with somebody on set. But like, based on like what we've kind of done so far with her, like, how does his perception of Violet compare to that of Veronica?
I feel like Brock thinks that Violet is a nice person. I don't know if he has that much of an opinion about her. This is like their first project together.
That's fair.
Like, it's not necessarily he hasn't seen her that much outside of that's Veronica's sister.
Yeah,
You know?
that's completely fair. Like, his perception of her is basically just like an extension of like what the general public feels.
Yeah. Like, this is their first real in-depth project, so he's just getting to know Violet, sort of, since
Mhm.
they've been paired together. So I feel like he doesn't have that deep acting bond that he has with Veronica with you yet. Like,
Yeah.
he's just getting to know you. But, like, Eric seems like a nice guy, so, like, you seem like a nice person if Eric likes you.
Does he pick up on the fact that Veronica's like putting Violet through the ringer of like the like humiliation in the actual movie?
I feel like he does a little bit, and that's, like, part of the whole, like, lacks the empathy. He just sees it as a, like, she wants this character to feel this way, but, like, she's not taking into consideration that makes her real life sister feel this way. He
Hmm.
just sees it as a continuation of her lack of empathy.
And by extension, do you think Brock is wise enough to pick up on the romantic tension between Violet and Eric?
Oh, yeah. Like, yes. He
Honestly, I think Brock and Eric bro out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, they're
like-
gamer bros.
Just like,
As-
dude, we just made out in the dressing rooms, and Brock's like, yo, sick.
I think we've
Oh,
already
no.
established that Eric and Brock, like, I think Brock has a crush on Eric too. So,
Oh,
but it's less of like it's like you're dating someone, but you're pretty hot. So,
yeah.
like he's not gonna ruin your relationship, but also you're cute.
I feel that. I'm vibing with it. Is it my turn? Or do we have any more questions?
It's your turn.
Okay, sick. Wow. You saved the queen's life once. How? Ooh, I know. I'm gonna say we sort of established that Surgery Sugar is like just the weirdest clusterfuck of a movie. And I feel like it really kind of like painted Veronica very poorly. Like very much like this is like a Miley Cyrus era movie for her. Like look how wild and crazy I am. And so I think like very much like Violet did her best to sort of like reinstate Veronica's sort of like social and like business reputation in ways that like maybe Mace or maybe Matthew couldn't, because like he's the one like booking interviews and doing things like that. But like I think Violet would like use like social media and stuff to like show like people like that she's just like a kid going through it and not just like this wild crazy like black spot on like her cultural.
You humanize her.
Yeah, humanize her. Thank you. I could not think of the word.
That's why her fans are so loyal.
Yeah.
When you brought up Surgery Sugar, I thought there was going to be like a scene that went wrong and she nearly actually died.
I mean, there's a lot of dental equipment.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah.
On like Rotten Tomatoes score, how bad was Surgery Sugar?
Oh God. I think it's one of those that like absolutely tanked with critics, but people watch it now as like it's so bad it's good. Yeah.
I agree with that.
People bring sugar to the thing to throw sugar at the screen whenever.
Everybody dresses up.
Is Surgery Sugar this world's version of Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Maybe. Does she know that you did all of that for her?
I think like she definitely knew about it, but I don't think she realized what like effect it had. Like, cause she just saw it as like at the time she was just like, oh yeah, like I'm hanging out with my sister more, like we're doing things, like oh she's like posting all these cute pictures of me on social media, but like I think it wasn't until like a good couple of years later where like it hit her of like, oh shit, like she did this because she like cared for me and realized like how bad I was doing. Cause yeah, like I think it's more than like besides like beyond the movie, I think yeah, like going through her Miley Cyrus era, like Veronica just wasn't doing well, and so like Violet really helped just kind of like ground her back to reality.
Nice.
Oh, what a good sister.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw a card. Ooh. When did you know you would never...
No.
When did you know you would never forgive the queen, and why? Ooh.
Honestly, it could have been that moment where you were standing outside in the rain.
Oh, it wasn't. Still loved her.
Is this like a more recent event? Are we
yeah.
getting towards like the climax and like this is something that happened?
I think it has to be.
This is the reason you betrayed her.
Yeah. Was it before or after? I think it was after she confronted me about trying to find acting jobs. I think after that, like a day passed, and like then I went to her to be like, let's talk, and like, can you tell me if I really like if I can make it? as an actress, and she destroyed me.
Oh no.
Oh. Just like in all ways, shapes, and forms. Just like not even
Yeah.
beyond acting. It's just like, look at you.
Yeah.
Like what roles are you gonna get the quirky sidekick?
If we want to get cruel, we could have someone roleplay it.
I'm okay with that.
Hmm. I don't want to rip Katie apart. Somebody else be Veronica.
Well, I mean, you played Veronica last time, but you don't have to play her every single
Yeah.
time.
Veronica's an actor. Anyone can play her.
Exactly. I mean, I've already ripped Matthew apart. So I don't know if Ian or Chloe want to do it. If not, I can volunteer myself as tribute.
Yeah, you go ahead and do it because you haven't really had interaction with Katie as Violet even, so
Yeah.
I think it works. Is anybody else in the room?
I like to think that this is one of their trailer talks,
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
which
when
makes
If
it
somebody
even
wants
worse.
if somebody wants to like step in and make it worse, you can along the way.
We're just gonna make this as brutal to listen to as possible.
trigger
Yeah.
warning, bullying.
Yeah, it's like knock 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 at the door.
Yes.
Hey, Miss Vanderbilt, I wanted to I mean, are you busy? Is it okay if I come in?
I suppose not. Come in.
I wanted to talk about the other day. You know, about how I'd been talking to Mr. Mason about acting parts.
What about it? You want to rub it in my face more that you're leaving me?
No, I didn't it wasn't really like that. I don't wanna leave you at all. It's just kind of like looking off into space, searching for the words.
Mm-hmm.
You inspire me. I mean, I got this job with you, and it meant the world to me. And seeing you act, seeing what you can do, it's beautiful. It's amazing, and I thought I could maybe be that too.
You? Are you joking?
No,
What about you, Scream's famous actress? I'm just saying. You got that mousy build, big dorky glasses. Like, I've heard you speak around on set maybe 10 words. You don't got what it takes, hun.
but Miss Aston said that
Miss
she heard me
Aston
read.
sticks to her computer like 5-10 hours a day. I've never seen her face not in a screen. I don't think she's the person to be going to for advice when you have me right here. And I'm just telling you, you should just save yourself the trouble.
You don't think I could like do you have some advice? Like how could I be better?
I don't know. Act in front of me. Go ahead. I'm sure you have materials prepared, Miss Aspiring Actress.
Yeah, I think she totally does. She does a scene, one of Veronica's scenes from House of Teeth, which she filmed a couple of years ago. There's a lot of like dental stuff, isn't there? Weird.
Teeth are scary.
Like I said, it was that really weird face.
Yeah.
House of Teeth was much better.
Yeah. It was like the trying to come back from surgery sugar.
Like more artistic.
Yeah. I do the like a little monologue where the Veronica's character is like confronting the demon master of the House of Teeth, and
I
like,
love this lore about House of Teeth.
really. And I want to say Katie really like has something, like genuinely is putting something out there in this performance.
Regardless, I think Veronica is just like kind of like filing her nails or whatever, like while she's doing it. And then like at the end, like kind of like pauses for a moment, like kind of lets like the silence like fill the air, almost like purposefully to like kind of like get Katie in anticipation. And then it's just like, okay, are you done being a carbon copy of me?
Yeah, I didn't. It's just that I. And she turns and leaves.
Damn.
Woof. Cruel.
Poor Katie.
No wonder.
That's show
she
business.
leaks.
Yep. All right.
So our 2 out of the 3 scenes I've done are just me being a diva, not kind of vibing with it. This is definitely not Indigo by any means.
No.
Whose turn is it?
Chloe.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
Oh.
I have a question, though,
Okay.
about that last one. Sorry, my mic totally died, and then I had to leave and rejoin.
Okay.
So, would Katie come to Annie after that interaction?
Ooh,
Or would she come to Matthew?
I don't know.
Or would she just go and cry?
Aw.
I don't know. Let's see what the cards say.
Sounds good. Okay, I'll draw. Ooh.
Oh,
You get all
I
of the
could
like.
see how this could be twisted.
You get all the really difficult to Trent to.
Gotta think about it in like a
Yes.
very metaphorical sense.
Yeah.
There is a part of you that does not want peace in this land. Why are you attached to the war? So why am I attached to the drama? Why am I attached to the turmoil? Why do I enjoy this toxic environment?
Do you want to see the queen fall?
I would say that's an absolutely, but only if she's replaced by very specific people.
The other suggestion I have is drama creates stories, and maybe you're writing a movie based on the drama you experience in your day-to-day working in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, no, I could be writing like a script for a whole movie that I want to like put out there so that I can get out from underneath all the and the fuel for this story is the drama that happens
Mm-hmm.
on set. I like that as well. I think it could be a combination of the two. Like I would like to steal some of the people from this set to like take with me when I go and write my own movie. I don't want to direct it because that's not my thing. But like I go and I want to like take some people and I want to rival Veronica because I don't like her or I approve of her methods in any way, shape, or form.
I do vibe with this, but I also want to remind you that the main base of the game is that we all have to like her.
You have to love her. You don't have to like her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Exactly. Again, I think that she's an excellent actress. I respect her craft. I think that she's great. And that is why I love her.
Gotcha.
I don't
okay.
like her because she's terrible.
She's an awful
She really
person,
is
but I love
bad.
her work.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
Hollywood.
so maybe I like Yeah, maybe I thrive off of the drama because it's inspiring, and I am writing my own movie.
Hell yeah.
I would say you probably saw Katie leave Veronica's dressing room in tears, if nothing else.
That's likely.
Yeah.
I would definitely, at the very least, go try to comfort her then. Like, oh, I told you, kid.
There's something very sweet to like their relationship as just like, I will get you through this industry because I've been through it for a long time and it's been kind of hell.
Like, Annie's only like late 20s to early 30s, but is already like feels old and gray. It's just like,
Yeah.
I am everybody's mother.
Absolutely.
Right, Ian?
All right. You were summoned to a private meeting with the Queen once. Why did you feel disappointed afterward? I feel like I've had many private meetings with the Queen, especially about people she was hiring. I think, okay, as we were gearing towards this movie specifically, there were several meetings where it was the buildup of knowing that I was going to have to step in and do something more drastic to stop her besides just discouraging her and like trying to slow her down because she's so determined to do what she wants. And it's just such a bad idea. It can't happen. And so I'm just disappointed with her, a little bit like, you're such a diva. You are not listening to reason. Come on. And now I'm going to have to step in to deal with this crap. Yeah, that's what I think. Any questions or ideas?
I'm curious, what if there was like a short period where like she fired you and then regretted it and took you back on? Or like you had to go back and basically like beg for forgiveness to be brought back on?
I could see that. I could see it like early on. So early on, I got fired because I just wasn't aligning with her vision. I got let go by her, but her parents, her dad, was very upset and annoyed with what was going on. So I have a lot of pressure from him. So I basically had to go back on my hands and knees and promise to stick with it. Otherwise, I was going to be in a lot of trouble from the family side of things.
Because
So
I think the family does put a lot of trust in you and to like ensure like on like the business side of it that like both of like the daughters really are like viewed by the public as like so good in all ways.
Yeah, and it's my job to keep it going, and if I fail, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I like that. And I wonder if my grace for this girl is starting to wear thin.
Ooh.
Look, I'm gonna have to do something drastic because she's not stopping.
All right. Anne?
Okay. Hiya. When was the last time the Queen hurt you? Ooh.
Ooh.
I think probably as we've been like filming and she's been directing and stuff like that, on days where she's really stressed out, like the day that she yelled at Katie all day, like there have been moments where she's just taking her anger out on her actors. And there's probably been a scene or two that I've been filming with her and she just totally ripped apart my acting.
Ooh.
Do you still, like, even after that, crave the like kindness?
Probably even more so because like I think it's me that's fucking it up. Like, you know, like he's
Not her being a diva.
not her being a diva because I'm not privy. I'm not like as much in the inner circle as everybody else. So I don't see all of those behind the scenes conversations. So all I see is her coming at me for my acting. And since she's in the director's chair, I have to believe that she's seeing something I can't see.
Or Brock.
And since I respect her acting so much, I believe her.
I love all of this so much.
Right. Well, Meg, the queen is
Yeah.
under attack. Do you defend her?
Oh,
Absolutely. She's my sister.
What's the attack?
I think kind of bringing it back to the present moment. There is this whole thing of I think like questioning like her legitimacy as like a director and like as an artist, as someone who's just been like in front of the camera this entire time. And so like specifically like the bad press that Matthew and Katie sort of ushered in are just like really being like this is ridiculous like why is she doing this, all this other stuff, like really just attacking her sister's dream. And I feel like she very much like outwardly publicly like has defended her sister and being like just because like this is something that she hasn't done before doesn't mean that she's not an artist and that she can't achieve this.
Is this like just the public is assuming that the movie's bad, or like things are being leaked that suggest that the movie's going to be terrible?
Yeah. And I think also just like because of her sister's reputation, they're like, oh God, like child actor just doing something to make herself seem relevant again. So yeah, like she's just like defending her sister from like all of like the hate that's like coming from all sorts of outlets. And very publicly being like, I support my sister in this. Like, if I didn't believe in this project, I wouldn't be acting in it. Like, just because, like, you've done one thing your whole life doesn't mean that you can't do new things and branch out. I think, like, even, like, going so far as to, like, get her own interview on, like, a late night show or something to, like, just, like, promote the movie and be like, yeah, I'm really excited for this to come out. Even if, like, in her heart of hearts, she doesn't fully know, like, if it's actually going to be good or not. She certainly doesn't feel great making it, but she just, like, wants to make sure that, like, her sister, like, isn't dragged through the mud like she was on set, but, like, in a more metaphorical way.
Right. All right, so we're going to go around the table and everybody answers this question. So that's me next. Queen is under attack. Do you defend her?
May I propose an idea?
Yeah.
I would like to propose the idea that as things haven't been slowing down, Matthew has decided to take a drastic action, which is to try and trick Katie into delivering some edits to the set, which will lead to Brock getting injured.
Lead to Brock getting what?
what?
Injured.
Injured.
Nothing fatal, but something that will create very bad publicity for the show. That is just my proposal for the attack itself.
I see. Well, my answer to do you defend her was going to be yes. Because Katie will never forgive her, but believes absolutely that this movie is genius. So she would say no to that. I think that Katie has like left the set and stolen like footage of like what's been worked on so far and is releasing it to prove that the movie is genius.
Oh no!
Is the movie genius though? We have not decided that yet.
No, that's for the public to decide.
Oh,
And so far, what we've established is that the public hates it.
The public assumes it's going to be bad. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe the final product will be better than the sum of its parts.
Maybe. All right, so that'll go around to Chloe to defend her.
That is so complicated for my character.
Yeah, you wrote this movie, right?
I did. I wrote this movie, but I also probably, knowing her, did not have a whole lot of creative control. So what I assume that I have been doing is I have been stacking up the manuscripts that I originally wrote, the uncut, unedited copies, for proof, to save my own butt in case it goes south and be like, hey, this wasn't my idea, for the record. But I do think that, like, knowing that I have that, like, backup, I'm not happy with her, but I'd also probably, like, yeah, I'll stand behind you on this. I don't like you, but I've worked with you enough, and I think at this point it'd be stupid of me to jump ship.
How about Matthew?
I think Matthew does not.
Ooh.
I think in this case, Matthew he's set up a safety net. He's worked with her father to set up like the plans for a movie that she can fall back on. But he's also got a lot of pressure to make sure this fails. And so I think as pressure has not stopped her, he's going to force bad publicity, which means probably organizing some on-site injury, because nothing grabs attention and spells bad publicity like injury.
Who got injured, Brock or Eric?
no. Oh, no.
Probably Brock.
Rude.
I know, sorry. But you're the leading man. And if her choice pick of leading man is taken out of the running, that's a blow.
How do we decide if he actually succeeded, though?
I think we assumed that he succeeded because he said he did.
Okay.
Sorry, Brock.
But how bad of an injury is it? Because Brock's very
Nothing
dedicated.
fatal. I imagine like a broken leg that's going to take quite a few weeks to repair.
Brutal.
Enough of an injury to take you out off site for far too much time.
The question is, does Brock defend her despite his injury? Does he view it as Veronica's fault?
Yeah, Brock's definitely like on the talk shows in his cast. Yeah, does Brock defend her?
All of the fangirls are just like, poor Brock, we love you, get well soon.
The question really is, we've been filming for a while, so can she just, like, keep me as the leading man and edit around stuff? Like, because I feel like his appearance in the movie would make a difference to him.
I mean, is the movie even going to be finished?
That's fair. Well, and Katie's been releasing snippets of the movie, so I feel like Brock's been able to see his own acting back to him. He's like, oh shit, I'm pretty good actually, though.
Yeah, you are.
And like, he has such a high opinion of her acting that I think he's like, she was being hard on me because I can be so much more. So he's definitely gonna defend her movie and be like, yeah, she's an intense director. Like, not for the weak of heart. But I have evolved and become an even better actor through this experience. And I'm excited to work on her next project, whatever that may be. Once my leg's better. And there's no horses in the next movie.
Brock has developed a fear of horses from working on this film.
Excellent. I think the movie was going to be a hit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Crap.
All right. Well, that was For the Queen.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Can't believe almost all of us defended her.
I know, right?
There are actually a whole bunch of cards in there that make the Queen look good. We just didn't get any of them.
We didn't get it.
And yet you all still defended her. This movie's a terrible idea.
Welcome to Hollywood.
It's like, my sister may be a bitch, but I still love her.
Is that the end of our story, dear listener? Are there questions yet left unanswered?
But who's the murderer?
Is there a murderer on set?
Am I the murderer?
You murdered her because you love her?
This person is not good.
Do you want to see the Queen fall?
This movie's gonna suck.
Dun, dun, dun.
Join us next time for Scream Queen 2, Love is Murder. Coming soon to wherever you get your podcasts.
You're about to get yourself involved with the wrong type of people, kid.